Welcome again to another episode of Crypto in Africa. Of course, this episode, or rather this channel, is dedicated to blockchain news, cryptocurrency news, and industry-related news in Africa and globally, and how both sides interact, or how the news in Africa impacts what's happening outside, or rather the rest of the world, and vice versa. So, but in today's news, we have, of course, something new, or rather a big announcement was made last week in China, which is that the Chinese government is of course going to now look into really adopting and looking further into cryptocurrency and blockchain. So because of that, Neo and other made in China cryptocurrencies saw some huge price gains, right? Most Chinese-based crypto projects had a huge price raise because of China's president's announcement. And of course, like the article says here, after the events of last week, news from China keeps on coming. After China's president Xi Jinping urged the country to increase its usage of blockchain technology, crypto prices have gone through the roof. The overall cryptocurrency market experienced a significant uptick initially, but that wasn't enough for Chinese projects, as some have continued to surge by the hour. Now, this is also obviously some good news for a country so influential and so, big as China, because of course China is one of the most, I think actually China is the most populated country. So for such a country and its government to actually say, hey, we're actually going to look much further and deeper into how we can use blockchain and cryptocurrency technology, I think that's a huge, step forward for this technology on its own. And also since, of course, China's influence over Africa, basically, how we all know how China has massively invested in Africa. I can already see how, you know, how there's a huge influence that also that very same blockchain technology that China's trying to bring about in its country will also fall off into Africa, and some countries starting to use such things, such platforms or technology such as blockchain, because we all know, right, that blockchain, or rather not we all know, but the blockchain technology is really suited for people, or rather yeah, blockchain technology is very suited for people that are underbanked, and most of those people that can't afford bank accounts, you find them in Africa, because of course the continent has quite a high percentage of unemployed people, so there's poverty levels that are quite high. But basically this is where I see also China's influence going through, or more rather moving right across. And further down on the article it says that of course Chinese based projects are the ones that mostly had high prices, and that's Neo, that's Ontology, that's Qtum, Bytom, and GXChain. So those cryptocurrencies, or those altcoins like some other people call them, have really experienced some massive raises in prices. For example, here Bytom's rise is the most notable one as of now, having increased more than 75% against Bitcoin and 85% against the US dollar. Now, I personally am a fan of investing, so I can already imagine for all the crypto investors. By the way, this is a 60-second chart, or a 1 minute chart. So yeah, but like I said, I can imagine for those that have invested maybe earlier, way earlier on, and of course if they've been paying attention to what's been happening in the crypto economy, then I think that's, I mean, 85% against the US dollar, that's a huge gain, right? But that's from trading view, by the way. And moving right along, Ontology has risen 40% against Bitcoin, and 45.5% against the US dollar. That's also still very nice and fair. That's also from the trading view. And of course Neo is trading at $11.71, having risen 35% against the US dollar and 27% against Bitcoin. So you can also see here on the chart, this is from Binance, you can see how it really quickly rose up, and then there's just a small bear pullback, but it's not so so big as, I mean, just look at this one over here, check how it went up and then it quickly came down again. So but yeah, it looks like it was some very good news for the crypto community, and particularly for the Chinese crypto community, and also of course for those projects, or for those companies that are responsible for those coins. And article still further just explains the Chinese interest in blockchain. Xi's announcement regarding blockchain has had a significant impact in other areas as well. It's still hard to say if that was the only reason for the substantial price surge, but it's safe to assume that it played a role. Well, my view, I think that definitely played a role as well. I mean, we all know that based on what announcements we get from the news, especially from regulators, governments, and really financial institutions, they play a huge role in affecting all crypto prices. So definitely Chinese government's announcement last week, in my opinion, affected the prices. What do you guys think? I'm not sure, but you can always let me know in the comment section there. I'd really love to hear your comments. And also, what do you think this means for Chinese and Africa relations, especially in countries that are that China has investments in? Because I see a potential, takeover of, or rather not even takeover, but like rather China extending its interest of blockchain, or its interest in blockchain, over to Africa, and also letting other African countries somehow partake in this. And of course, just generally also, this is something that's new. This is a technology that's coming about, which really can't be, I don't know, yeah, like ignored or neglected, because it's just part of, human evolution. So, but basically that's that. If you guys have any comments, just let me know right there at the bottom. And of course, this was our episode, and like I said, we're back again. We're going for the long haul. Let's keep on keeping our crypto community very positive, influence people. Let's make sure that people understand the importance of this technology and its potential impact it has across people, specifically for people that are underbanked, for people that really can't afford to have their normal bank accounts but still want to send money from, from maybe home, or all need to just say, I mean, money is what makes the world go around. So here guys, that's it for today's episode. Catch us on another episode of Crypto in Africa. Cheers.